Hello and welcome, Amadar Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. In the Pune Lohagad Fort murder case, shocking details are emerging, revealing that the accused Siya Goyal allegedly met her lover Chetan Chaudhary hours before the killing of her fiancé Ketan Agarwal to plan what was initially projected as an accident. Ketan Agarwal, a 26-year-old real estate director, was allegedly pushed into a gorge by Siya and her 22-year-old lover on the 18th of June, even as wedding preparations were underway for their marriage scheduled for November. Investigators say Siya misled the family by claiming he had slipped during a trek after allegedly convincing him to cancel a birthday celebration planned at a luxury hotel in Mahabaleshwar and instead go to Lohagad Fort, where the incident took place. The duo Siya Goyal and Chetan Chaudhary, who reportedly met at work and were in a secret relationship for about a year, are now in police custody till the 29th of June. Deepika Narayan Bharadwaj, social activist, is joining us live. Vinit Jindal, Supreme Court advocate, is also with us on this story. Dr. Jayanti Datta, a psychiatrist, also joins us live. Sanjay Sahai, former ADGP Karnataka, also with us on the broadcast. They've been sent to police custody now. Vinit Jindal, was this to be expected? I think about a week in custody is what they've been sent to till the 29th of June. Now, which way is this case now headed as the police starts recreating the crime scene and tries to build up a foolproof case over what initially looked to be an accidental death and now has turned out to be murder?
Yes, that's why the police has asked for the police custody to investigate this matter, and I think the police must recollect all the things and trying to find out what is actually happened on that day. So definitely, this is the duty of the police to find out the truth, whether only the girl has been involved in this all, who has been perpetrator of this all episode, the all incident, a person who has no concern with even he is not aware about what is going to be happen with him, and this is a brutal murder of an innocent person who has been trying to build up his future life with a girl, and the girl and his partner ditches in this thing. And I think the police has been now taking care of this thing, and investigation has been taking place, and they are trying to rebuild everything, and the forensic evidence, the call details. There are so many things which has to be come forward during this investigation, and the police has doing this thing in the police custody itself.
Okay. Let me, in fact, also now bring in Deepika as well for her perspective. Deepika, what do you make of this case? What does it tell us about the society that we live in? We saw the case in Indore earlier with Sonam Raghuvanshi. Now this kind of case also coming in. And what is different here is that it was obviously a premeditated murder. Reportedly, backups were looked at by the girl and her lover. She's met the boy a few hours before this trek. Her alleged lover Chetan Chaudhary, who now is in police custody as well. Also, this was tried a couple of times before reportedly, but failed. The family now has pointed out red flags that they overlooked, but now look very, very suspicious over how the girl behaved when the two had gone to this location for a trek earlier as well.
Oh, a very shocking case. A 20-year-old, just a 20-year-old girl capable of pulling up off a stunt like this, costing an innocent man's life. She's an educated girl belonging to a very well-to-do family living in a metropolitan city like Pune. All that she had to do is to tell her parents or probably Ketan that, listen, I do not want to get married to you. It was that easy. But instead of doing that, she went ahead and murdered this young boy in cold blood. His family is crying right now. I'm sure her family is also not in good state. But the larger issue here, Uday, I would say, is this is not just one case. In June itself, my NGO Ekam Nyay Foundation has documented almost 2 such murders every single day. And these are just media reports coming out of Hindi and English newspapers. So there is a rising amount of crime because of extramarital affairs, adulterous relationship. People are willing to commit such heinous crimes rather than just tell the society of whatever relationship or affairs they are in. I think it's time for a check in the society, and I think these criminals really need to be punished hard. Sonam Raghuvanshi is out on bail within 11 months. It was one of the most talked about and again as cold-blooded murder as this one. For a main accused in a case like that to be coming out within 11 months, what message is it sending to the society that as a woman you will get away? You can commit whatever crime you want. You can, hurl false allegations. You will get away. You commit a murder, you will get away. I personally see as that kind of a message going out to the society. Criminals are getting a message that you will just get away, and that's why they have no fear of the law.
Okay, let me in fact take that to you, Dr. Jayanti Datta, about the psychology involved in which the youths also commit such heinous crimes, such pre-planned murders, such murders with so much of meticulous planning, and then try and paint a completely different picture. Here we saw this girl put up emotional posts as well after the crime had taken place, stories, Instagram stories and other posts that she would miss him forever, and reminiscing about those moments when it was something entirely different, Dr. Datta.
These are the typical reflections of the psychopathic personalities. They have the criminal propensities, and as we have seen in media earlier also, when Nirbhaya rape happened, the rape cases were on the increase, right? Similarly, when you had Muskan cutting her husband's body and putting it in the blue drum, similarly, you had a Lucknow case where the father was killed and again put in the blue drum, right? So, when the Sonam did something like this, there was hue and cry. We all were so concerned and so pained, that this kind of a thing can be done by a female like that. Now, here again, there is a case. When you started having cases like, happened in Mumbai, happened in Bangalore, whether the bodies were chopped, cooked in the cooker, and then fed to the dogs after Shraddha murder case, right? So there is a tendency among the people like this who are young, who feel they can get away with everything. There is no fear of punishment at all. We haven't come across any one of these cases which I quoted where they have been punished. They are scot-free. They get the bail and they are out on bail. So the message sent, as Deepika rightly said, the message sent to the public is, especially those with criminal propensity, that you can get away with everything. And especially you are a young, beautiful looking, smart girl with some amount of money, you can get away. Look at this girl. She has not only killed one person, she has roped in another person also. So there is a grandiose kind of a syndrome among these kind of psychopathic personalities. She could easily say that I don't want to get married and come out, but that doesn't give them the satisfaction. So what they have to do, they have to show, see, I can do this, I can make these men do what I want. So one person is getting killed, the other person is on the way. She has roped in. Now, when you say we don't have evidences, Shraddha murder case, we have plenty of evidences. Sonam, forensic evidences were there. Here again, you see when you teach your officers for criminal investigations, one of the primary thing is look into the behavior, criminal behavior. So you see there are enough documents, enough proof that there was a dialogue between the perpetrator and the female, and she attempted to kill him before also, saying that मैं तो डर गई थी, snake था, सांप के वजह से. She pushed him, somehow he saved. I am aghast that these families, where from these boys are coming. When you have females like this, your boys are doing well, they are handsome. Why do you still give in to these kind of females? Because there is no punishment. You see, we shout, we talk about it in the media, that's the end. After a few months, again, they will be out in the bail. So you cannot stop crime unless and until there is a fast track court and there is a visibility of the punishment. खौफ है ही नहीं किसी के दिमाग में. And especially these youngsters, I am going for a meeting tomorrow where the the Juvenile Justice Board judges are going to be sitting there. And the kind of stories they narrate, horrendous. the females are getting away with everything. And they say that it's all right, either through sex or through bed or through money or through contacts. They can get away with anything. And unless and until, the public will suffer. The messages which you are giving is very, very
because
scary.
that's what, many are asking that question about what is happening to the society. I'll come back to you. Sanjay Sai, let me draw you in here on what the giveaways were. What made this case suddenly turn from an accidental death to a murder case? Also, would you commend the police investigation so far and the direction it is taking over the last 24 hours?
See, I think the subsequent day, the accused, she met the deceased sister. And from there, I think the whole story started, and she was not able to give a very coherent picture of whatever transpired that day. Then they started connecting other things, which the father has been talking about, and all these incidents, which you narrated with the other three panelists. So all those things started falling together, inclusive the passport, which was supposedly stolen and
Look, I think I've lost Mr. Sahai there. We'll try and bring him back in just a second. Dr. Jayanti Datta, I was trying to bring you in here also earlier on the psychology. What has gone wrong with our, I think Mr. Sahai, you're back with us. I'm coming back to you in just a second. We lost you. Dr. Jayanti Datta, what has gone wrong with our society? What is happening in these, tier 2 cities? These are not the big metros. These are the tier 2 cities, Pune, Indore, where the youth is behaving in this manner.
Unfortunately, my gathering, my understanding of this is these are the people, these are the youngsters who lack any kind of nurturant relationship or a nurturant upbringing. So they don't have a component of succurrence. They lack the empathy. They don't understand their EQ, that is the emotional quotient, is very, very low. And they're so self-centered. They're driven by that, Go-getters, I have to get it. And, they can't wait for long enough. If you want it, you have to get it. And they are so impulsive. There is no grooming. There is no, that superego component, which ties it down to the societal norm. It's very, very low in these kind of youngsters. Because if you look into their history, if you look back in their upbringing, I'm sure you will come across, there have been instances, if the family you interrogate, you will find that they have been committing these kind of things. They have been committing small offenses, crimes, and they've been getting away with it. Because, this kind of planning, this kind of heinous crime doesn't come to the foray all of a sudden. It is not an impulsive thing. There is a pre-planning. There is an organization where you talk about Sonam, you talk about Muskan, you talk about this girl. They all had plans. They have organized, and their criminal propensity, the reflections, I'm sure, the family, if interrogated, you will gather the evidences that they have manifested these kind of tendencies before also. And if you look at it, their peer group, the peer group matters the most. And their peer also has this kind of thing, they encourage this kind of thing. So peer appreciation के लिए भी कई दफे आप इस तरह की heinous crime से indulge कर जाते हो. As I said, the grandiose syndrome, that I am bigger than you. I can make these men do what I want them to do. And there is no punishment. And only thing they are worried about is, koi hame bura na kahe. I don't agree that there was a family pressure that, nahi, you have to marry this. I don't think these youngsters even pay any heed to this. They don't bother. As I said, they are deprived of any succurrence, any nurturant relationship. They are not capable of maintaining this kind of emotional relationship, and they don't even bother. They only talk about, and you see there have been suicides also happening. They're youngsters, because those, who are into the media, and they said, mere followers kam ho gaye. Followers kam ho gaye, to aap apni jaan pe bhi utaru ho jate ho. That is the problem with these youngsters. They are so impulsive. They don't think about the consequences.
Okay.
They are not.
Sanjay Sai, let me rope you back in here. We'd lost you earlier. You were telling us about the giveaway signs, about the, the way now this investigation is taking, and are you satisfied with it?
See, the signs were very visible, and that has been narrated any number of times in most of the public forums we have been talking about. And by now, if you get into hindsight, there were sufficient enough symptoms by which these people would have or could have reacted. But generally, as the norm was, so when you are going for something worthwhile or some great momentous thing happening in your family, if you see a couple of aberrations here and there, we generally basically tend to cross over it, and we don't give much of an importance to that. Now, coming to the investigation of the case, starting with the deceased sister, whatever details was brought to her by way of the behavior of the accused, from there the whole thing started. And when they started tracing back, they realized these were the incidents which happened, finally adding up to what is very, very important in this particular case is, and when you get into non-professional murders, if I treat this as a non-professional murder from a police point of view, remorse is one thing which just appears just after the incident, which means in a very state of provocation, you have done you have committed the murder, or you have been in a different frame of mind. But these are the people where there is no remorse. For them, it is a professional murder, might be the first time. But the criminality which has seeped in their DNA is a criminality of a professional killer. It's not only criminality of a professional killer, it is the criminality of a psychopath. So she tried 3-4 times, and literally she was hell-bent, whatever come may, this fellow has to be killed. Marriage was a non-issue. And this whole generation, even if I dare to if I take liberty, I think they are not going to listen to anybody. Even one small 5% marks less or more anything, nobody tells the younger generation anything. So basically, the school and the formative years and your family and this whole the ecosystem has allowed them to grow in a manner they do.
And the brazenness as well. And the brazenness as well, Deepika Bhardwaj, the brazenness by which she thought she could get away with it. She could get away with it.
Absolutely. But why would she not think like that, Uday? I told you about the examples that we have. You know, there is some kind of, glorification also now of these cases, which I'm totally aghast and appalled at. Today on Twitter, on X, I was reading so many women just going on and on saying, the women do not have a right to say no. We are in 2026 talking like this, giving excuses of hardcore, cold-blooded murder. She did not have a choice. Indian patriarchal society. Yes, India is a patriarchal society, but women are scaling mountains and Everest. And what are you talking about that she couldn't say a no to her family? The kind of excuses that are going on. People are saying, ऐसे तो Ketan Agarwal का, there's a lady Priyanka, I don't want to get personal, but she's like, ऐसे तो Ketan Agarwalों को और बहुत सारे मर्दों को मरना चाहिए, अरेंज मैरिज का सिस्टम खत्म होना चाहिए, ऐसे और आदमी मरेंगे तो हमारे को थोड़ा सा सातवना होगी महिलाओं के साथ इतना. It's become kind of a bizarre competition, and women are becoming rebels for no good reason. There's a Bangalore murder where the Shweta has killed her own father, her mother, her own 19-year-old sister because they did not approve of a relationship. So now parents are to be blamed, and parents are becoming, kind of criminals just because they are thinking of well-being of their child. And just because that child happens to be a girl, you portray everything as oppression. Parents thinking good for their daughters, parents thinking good for their, girls. Everything is being dubbed as oppression by this patriarchal society. And now we are seeing so many girls and women committing murders. They want to go in a rebellion mode, do not want to listen to anybody, file false cases, do anything possible, file false sexual abuse cases, rape cases, just to get money, just to get grandiose, just to satisfy their, I don't know, what do they want in life? I mean, killing has become so easy. It is scary. It is very scary. And not just women, for men as well. I mean, the kind of depravity we are seeing in society, I think our law agencies really, really need to catch up. One thing I always say to media, and this is my humble request and personal request also, it's not that our prosecution agencies are not doing anything. It's not that our police is not doing anything. They are getting a lot of convictions in heinous crimes. It's just that it is not talked about.
Okay.
We speak a lot when cases happen, but we go absolute mum when punishments happen.
In
These
fact,
punishments, these life
yes,
sentences need to be
yes,
broadcast,
yes.
need to be told in